Namaskar, Sri Ramakrishna Kathamrita. Kathamritam tapta jivanam kavibhiriditam kalmashapaham shravana mangalam srimadaadatam bhuvi grunantiye bhurida janaha. And after a pretty long gap, almost 1.5 months, we are taking up reading from Sri Ramakrishna Kathamrita Pratham Bhag Pancham Khundo and Pratham Bhag Pancham Khundo Dvitiyo Purichhed. So it has been a pretty long time, and what we will do is we will just recap what we had read out from this fifth section of the first volume of Sri Ramakrishna Kathamrita. That the Brahmo devotees like Sri Jutyo Amrut and Trilokanath, great singer who has captivated the minds of so many Brahmo devotees with his wonderful devotional singing. They have come on this 29th March 1883. It is a Thursday again. It is not a weekend. Not much crowd in Sri Ramakrishna's room at Dakshineshwar in Kalibadi. Just a very few select devotees who are extremely serious and sincere to listen to Sri Ramakrishna's words just for themselves. There is no crowd. And Sri Ramakrishna is talking to them. Initially, Sri Ramakrishna is a bit worried because Rakhal is not well that day. Uh, Rakhaler Oshuk, he is not well, and Sri Ramakrishna is extremely worried. And he asks once the team of these devotees of Amrut and Trilokanath, they come. Of course, M is also there with them visiting Sri Ramakrishna. And Sri Ramakrishna is so worried about Rakhal not being well. So he asks them that will giving some soda water to Rakhal bring some relief to him. And then Sri Ramakrishna tells Rakhal, better Rakhal, তুই জগন্নাথের প্রসাদ খা. You have a little prasad of Jagannath. Now that association of Lord Jagannath, the great, the Lord Jagannatha with his beloved companion Rakhal. Because Sri Ramakrishna knew Rakhal in his previous birth, he was companion of Lord Krishna. He was a Rakhal, the cowherd boy, the friend of Sri Krishna. And the moment Sri Ramakrishna uttered these words, Rakhal, we Jagannathir Prasad Khai. That's it. Rakhal in front of me as the devotee friend of Sri Krishna, as mention of Sri Krishna, Jagannath, the prasad of Jagannath to be taken by Rakhal for so that he can feel better. He can be, he can get relieved from the discomfort that he has been facing. So that was Sri Ramakrishna's concern. And the moment he said this, he just entered Samadhi. And he started uttering in a most lovingly and devoted manner. Sri Ramakrishna started looking at Rakhal with all the compassionate, look. All the বাৎসল্য ভাবে দেখিতে লাগলেন তিনি সেই বালক রাখালকে বাৎসল্য ভাবে দেখিতে লাগলেন, as if yes, Rakhal was his own child, and with all that love and compassion filled in his eyes, he started looking at Rakhal and গোবিন্দ গোবিন্দ এই নাম প্রেম ভরে উচ্চারণ করিতে লাগলেন, and just started chanting the Lord's name, Govinda, Govinda. Sri Ramakrishna was so much in that ecstatic mood, looking at Rakhal, and then looking with all the love and compassion and uttering Govinda, Govinda. Sri Ramakrishna he deported himself into the times of Vrindavan with Sri Krishna and with his cowherd friend Rakha. And then slowly, Govind Naam Kurite Kurite, Bhakta Sri Ramakrishna, Sri Thakur Sri Ramakrishner Samadhi Hoyache. He just entered into ecstasy and started enjoying that divine bliss. And then slowly, Sri Ramakrishna finally he came down to the normal plane. And as he came down to the normal plane, in the second chapter we saw that one person wearing ochre robes, Gerua, had entered and sat along with other devotees. And the moment Sri Ramakrishna saw that person wearing Gerua, wearing the ochre robes, Sri Ramakrishna spoke that no, 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 this is not the right thing. You have not renounced, you are not a sannyasi. You are not a tyagi to the core, and you are wearing this Gerua cloth. Don't belittle the sanctity of that Gerua cloth. If you have not renounced, if you have not taken the vows of renunciation, the vows of sannyasa, the diksha of sannyasa, better don't wear that Gerua cloth and belittle the dignity, belittle the sanctity of that ochre robe. And then Sri Ramakrishna was very upset saying that. And to once again bring his mind back from that falsehood, because Sri Ramakrishna never ever appreciated falsehood, even in fun or even in frolic or even in jokes. Sri Ramakrishna said, no, even if it is fun, even if it is a joke, never commit to falsehood. Be true, be concerned with the truth, be tied up with the truth. Truth is the ultimate. And take his mind away from that kind of thought and atmosphere. Sri Ramakrishna then started talking about his beloved children Narendra, Rakhal, and their ever-free nature. Sri Ramakrishna said, Narendra Prabhuti Nitya Shuddho, ever Siddho, perfect. These are ever perfect souls. They don't develop devotion spontaneously. They don't develop devotion for the lotus feet of the Lord in just one or two births, birth after birth. They have been the Lord's companions, they have been the Lord's devotees, they have that devotion. The raga bhakti, prema bhakti is inborn with them, life of birth after birth. Talking about his beloved children, Narendra and Rakhal, and Sri Ramakrishna loved talking about the purity, the childlike simplicity of his wonderful children. And Sri Ramakrishna has also told us about what is the nature of this kind of Nitya Shuddho Jaman Momachi. Nitya Siddho, these ever perfect souls, Narendra, Rakhal, and other children of his, the would be renouncing children of his, and also some of the household children that Sri Ramakrishna had. Sri Ram Babu, Girish Babu, all these. Sri Ramakrishna said these children, and especially Rakhal and Narendra, the monastic ones who are going to establish this order in future, they are like honeybees. They are not like ordinary flies. Ordinary fly, Sri Ramakrishna had said, what does the ordinary fly do? The ordinary fly at this moment it is enjoying sipping sweetness from some sweet meat, and the next moment that fly it won't bother to sit on the filth. For fly there is you know just it will never get attracted only to the good things. It will also get attracted towards the things which normally are hated by us. Filth, we don't like to even touch the filth, we don't even like to look at it. And these ordinary flies, they would comfortably sit on that filth. Sri Ramakrishna said, these boys, my sons, my Narendra, my Rakhal, they are like honeybees. They will never, ever, they won't even look towards filth. They will be concerned only sipping the honey from the flowers. They are not worried about the worldly enjoyments. They don't have any kind of temptation for those worldly enjoyments. All their mind, all their nature is focused on the Lord, focused on the lotus feet of the Lord, is focused in Aham. They want to just enjoy the bliss. They don't want to enjoy these earthly pairs of opposites. You have a joy one moment and get into the sorrow the next moment. What kind of life is that? You start enjoying pleasure this moment, next moment you are suffering in pain. What kind of life is that? But my sons, Rendro, Rakhal, they are Nitya, they are ever perfect. And then Sri Ramakrishna had told us that how the ordinary people behave, like know, doing the formal worshipping, and they will have all kind of show off doing the ritualistic worship. And Sri Ramakrishna says once you develop the true devotion to the God, the intense devotion to the God, then you need not do all those formalities, all those formal rituals. Doing a formal worship, doing a ritualistic worship is like Sri Ramakrishna had told, যেমন ধান হলে মাঠ পার হতে গেলে আলো দিয়ে ঘুরে ঘুরে যেতে হবে. When there is a paddy growing in the field, you can't just walk through the crop. It will damage the crop and then you won't get sufficient yield. So when the crop is standing in the field, what you do, if you have to cross to another portion of your land, you just walk along the ridges, you walk around the boundary of the farm, you don't walk through the crop, standing crop. So then he had also given us the example of আবার যেমন সম্মুখের গায়ে যাবে কিন্তু বাঁকা নদী দিয়ে ঘুরে ঘুরে যেতে হবে. There is a river and you have to go across to the next village. So what you do? You can't just step into the river and walk. You just take the curves as the river is taking the curve along to reach that other village. Side by side on the bank of the river you take the turns and then you reach this next village. So Sri Ramakrishna says while doing ritualistic worship and all that is like that. You have to take so many efforts walking this way, walking that way, and then you go to next village or you cross over the field of your paddy. But Sri Ramakrishna says what happens when the intense devotion, the raga bhakti, the prema bhakti, it arises in your heart, in your mind. Now, Sri Ramakrishna is going to talk about that raga bhakti, prema bhakti in this second chapter of the fifth section of first volume of Sri Ramakrishna Kathamrita. Sri Ramakrishna is telling raga bhakti, prema bhakti, ঈশ্বরে আত্মীয়ের ন্যায় ও ভালোবাসা এলে আর কোন বিধি নিয়ম থাকে না. Once you develop that intense love, that yearning, intense yearning for the Lord, once you develop that kind of love, that kind of devotion, then বিধি নিয়ম এলে আর কোনো বিধি নিয়ম থাকে না. Then there is no need for you to do any of these spiritual, ritualistic worships. No japa, no offering flowers and burning incense sticks, and no reciting of mantras. No, just develop that raga bhakti. Just develop that prema bhakti, intense love, deep yearning love for the Lord, intense desire for the Lord. Then you don't have to do any of those ritualistic the worships. তখন ধান কাটা মাঠ যেমন পার হওয়া. Then what the situation, once you develop the once that intense love, the deep love for the Lord, it sprouts in your heart, then what happens? It is a stage like you have harvested the paddy. It is no standing crop, and you just walk across the field. Now there is no harm of your crop getting damaged and your yield getting reduced. No, you have already done everything. Everything is clean, harvested. The crop is not there standing in the field. Now you don't have to do that effort of walking along the ridges and then go to the other side of your field. You just walk across, straight walk over. There is no need for any ritualistic worship. তখন ধান কাটা মাঠ যেমন পার হওয়া, আলো দিয়ে যেতে হয় না, then one does not need to walk along the ridges, along the corners of the field. সোজা এক দিক দিয়ে গেলেই হলো. Hmm? You can just straightway from within the farm, you can just walk across from here to there. Why take all the pains going crisscross this way, that way, and then reach the other side? Just walk it, walk over the field. And then Sri Ramakrishna again gives another example. Bonne ele. Bonne is flood. Bonne ele আর বাঁকা নদী দিয়ে ঘুরে ঘুরে যেতে হয় না. When it is flooding, you need not, like he had given earlier an example of going to another village, walking across the bank of the river, take left, take right, like the river is taking curves along the sides, you also take curves. No, once it is flooded, once there is the river is filled with water all around, then you don't have to walk around the curves around the bank of the river to reach another village. তখন মাঠের উপর এক বাঁশ জল. When there is a flood and the fields, the entire riverbed is covered with uh, it is filled with water. Ek bunch, like one bamboo, like the equivalent to the height of one bamboo. The water is flooding in that river. You সোজা নৌকা চলিয়ে দিলেই হলো. That time you did not walk around all those curves and take long time to reach the village. All you need to do is just take one boat, pitch into it, and just get across. Just get across the waters. You just cross the field. You just cross the river. You don't have to make any efforts of walking around all the curves and take a long time reaching the other end. No. Now that raga bhakti, now that intense devotion, now that intense love for the Lord, for the mother has sprouted in your heart, you just straight go. All the doors are open for you to enter the mother's heart. All the obstacles, all the difficulties on the path, they are all removed. You did not keep on waving the lamp for hours together. There is no need for you to keep on waving the incense sticks before the image of your mother, before the image of your Lord for hours together. No need. The Lord has removed all those barriers. Just walk across. Just take a small boat and swim across the river in those flooded waters. But if there is no flood, you have to take the effort of winding up through the curves and all those things. So, Sri Ramakrishna says, এই রাগ ভক্তি অনুরাগ ভালোবাসা না এলে ঈশ্বর লাভ হয় না. Sri Ramakrishna says, till the time you don't develop this intense love, anurag, anurag is this passionate love. This passionate love, unless and until you don't develop within you, you don't develop bhalobasha. You don't have that intense love for the mother, intense love for the God. Ishwar love, you can never have realization of the God. You can never have the vision of the God. You can never have the vision of the mother unless you have the raga bhakti, anurag, the passionate desire to look at mother, the passionate desire to have the vision of mother. Unless and until you don't have these are Sri Ramakrishna has in fact told us a great secret on this spiritual path. How we can get the vision of mother, how we can get the vision of the Lord, of our chosen ideal. Develop the Raga Bhakti. Let that intense devotion sprout in our heart. Let that passionate love take form in our heart. And let that bhalabasha, intense love for the God, develop in our heart, generate in our heart. And then nothing, no God, Lord, no mother can stop us from having that vision. So that is what Sri Ramakrishna has told us in this small passage that we have read. And uh, we will stop our reading here. Henceforth, we won't have the daily reading, but maybe once or twice a week, because very soon this book is also is going to get over. This first part of the book is only till eighth section of the first volume, and I have been trying to contact the Nagpur Ramakrishna Math, but they have still not come up with the second part. So there is going to be some limited reading of Sri Ramakrishna Kathamrita for a few days till this uh, volume uh, gets over. And then possibly we will have to devise something new to share Sri Thakur's words with the devotee family. So till then, as of today, Om Namah Shri Bhagavate Ramakrishnaaya. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Jai Thakur, Jai Ma, Jai Swami.